Okay, never mind.
You should move the cat food. Oh, there we are. We're live. Uh, I think there are heaps of junk behind me because I'm so disorganized.
Oh, and I have a attractive cat food.
Yeah, our backgrounds are especially beautiful today. And there's a windstorm. Like there's a fury of wind outside. I feel like I'm going to be blown away. And I'm also not fully engaged in reality. So
It's have I read someone saying like between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day, like you just totally lose track of like what time is or what days are passing by because it's kind of like a haze of food and eggnog.
we haven't had any eggnog.
I know I need to make some. I keep forgetting.
Don't
So
know how you keep forgetting that.
I don't
I
know.
have been drinking sherry, lots of nice different kinds of sherry. So that has not been a terrible situation for me at all. Uh, and we had a whole bunch of things to talk about. I thought we should, recap Christmas. Our one child is trying to move bedrooms right now, and another one is trying to plan a wedding. And I don't know where the other one is sick in his apartment, sadly. And so I don't know how everybody's doing, but uh, I think we got to see everybody at Christmas. That was pretty great. Trying to get my computer up um, with all the things that I thought we were going to talk about today. Did you happen
We
to
should
notice?
yes, we should mention that the first review, not I mean, there's lots of reviews on Amazon, but the first review of Aiden's book, Illustrate, came out. And
And
he did
he,
the Odyssey translation that he did illustrations for came out. And it's really good. I was surprised about how in depth the review is. It's not just like a small article; it's a pretty long article comparing the latest three translations that came out and ranking Mike Sola's translation above all the others, which is one Aiden did. So I was very happy with it.
yeah, he said that they have a couple of his pictures are in the review, and trying to get past all the stuff where I have to subscribe, which I don't want to do.
What are you doing?
Maybe I can't do that. Oh well, I quoted it on. Um,
I've subscribed.
oh, you.
It's in the Epic Times, which I'm not a huge fan of, but this reviewer is a seems like he knows his stuff poetry
Right.
wise.
So, well, at the very end, they said, alongside this, Aidan Kennedy's illustrations offer a second major contribution. They are not embellishments, but visual interpretations echoing the energy and seriousness of the poem through an archaic yet expressive style reminiscent of black figure pottery. Text, image, and commentary interact as a single unified creation.
Well, I'm very proud.
Very
Great.
cool.
Yeah.
They're they are some of well, the Odyssey is pretty violent, and so he, they're not like cozy drawings that you would, maybe I don't know what you would do with them, frame them and put them on your wall, but they are very moving. And
Wes Huff on Twitter today, he said he was writing. He was talking about the Odyssey because the movie coming out next year. And he was saying how uh, just the values of Odysseus and Homer and the values uh, they reflected in the epic. I mean, it's very brutal. Right? It's like the Odysseus is perfectly fine torturing his wife's suitor to death, and one of them anyway. And the value of life is kind of cheap. And what Seth was saying, you can compare this kind of epic poetry to say something like Milton or later on, like, and you have the moral sense of the West that was bequeathed to us by Christianity just wasn't there in Homer, um, which is what Nietzsche saw that and tried to return us to. Um,
Cultural Christianity.
well, no, he tried to do away. He tried to return us
The
to
other way. The other way around.
doing away with Christian ethics in Western morality and go back to kind of the Homeric brutality with no
Which,
pity.
just to go off on a tangent, I can't remember which podcaster this was. Um, I was doing all the flowers, Christmas flowers for the altar, and so it's a total haze to me. But there are apparently lots of TikToks of women complaining about the behavior of men, particularly on public transport, like on the subway or the bus, that men just don't get up anymore when a woman is sort of, dealing, carrying a lot of stuff or is older, and they'll just sit. And a lot of sort of highbrow women are complaining on the TikTok about the loss of chivalry. And the person, and I cannot remember who it was, said, well, but we, not really we, but everyone has gotten what everyone wanted when they said they wanted equality. This is what that looks like. And it is brutal and ugly, essentially, and too bad.
I mean, the men should get up off their rear ends and let the woman have the seat.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, that's the consequence of telling men that women that there's no difference between them and women, and men will take that to heart.
And believe all women.
Yeah, yeah, with a belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to live in a Homeric epic, but the pictures are amazing, and I'm slowly reading. You're going faster than me through this version of the Odyssey.
You
The
know, I like it. I think it's really great. And granted, I've not read like all the versions of the Odyssey, but I can't compare it to others. But what this guy is saying struck me as true. Like he's saying, like, as if you were to compare Odyssey translations to Bible translations, um, what was her name? Wilson. What was her name?
Emily Wilson.
Emily Wilson's is more like the NIV, maybe because it's thought for thought. Like she doesn't really, and sometimes she just departs from the thought altogether to put her own thing in there because she's trying to reduce the epic nature of it and make it less about courage and masculine heroics and all that. She's trying to take that out of the account, which is utterly unhomeric. Um, but then, the other on the other side of things is someone who's trying to do extremely accurate Greek, um, and some
Makes it
kind of poetic.
not readable in English.
Yeah, yeah. So Mike Solit's view is version is in the middle. So in biblical terms, it's kind of like if you had read the NASB, you know how it's so literal. It's so I mean, it's word for word. So it's sometimes hard to read because it's clunky in English. The NIV is like too smooth because
Smooth.
yeah, well, especially the more modern one, NIV is it's too smooth. It just cuts out a lot of the interesting, or cuts out a lot of the actual accuracy of the language. But the ESV is kind of in between. It's got beauty of language and it's a good translation. So I think this is the Mike Solat Odyssey is like the ESV, according to this reviewer.
According to, yeah. It's also not in iambic pentameter, which actually cuts against the Greek, apparently. Um, so I listened to Emily Wilson's Odyssey several years ago when it came out. And the great thing about that is that Claire Danes reads it. Is another great Instagram follow is the person who lives her life as if she's Claire Danes. You could go look up this person on the socials. She's so funny. Um, Claire Danes very dramatic, and I'm wondering, and very emotional in her reading of it. And I don't know if that what that does to the actual translation because it's quite moving um, to listen to. And you don't, I mean, but you do get the feminism coming out. You know, you can't avoid it. Um, so I hope I think there's going to be an audible version of this yet. And there are, our daughter Emma is hoping to use this in her Odyssey class that she's going to teach. So yeah, there are things are trying to make it available for students. Um, that's what Kristen has done. This son-in-law teaches it in sixth grade and is excited by this one's language being accessible to students. Yeah. So it's cool. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. I should assume that, you know, one of my children is going to illustrate the Odyssey, you know, in the middle of wedding preparations. That's when he did it. So it's really great. So that's one thing. The other thing um, that I thought was really fun, I totally missed this yesterday because I think I was sleeping. But Joel on the Demotivations chat proposed a list of words and expressions that should not be welcome back in 2026. So I thought it would be great if we looked forward to the new year. I can't remember if we made any predictions last year. I'm pretty sure we didn't.
I don't.
didn't.
I don't.
Who
I'm,
even knows?
we're not. Are we qualified to make predictions?
Yeah, well, sometimes I just randomly do, and I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't do that. But I think this is great. 2026 is upon us. No, no, you never make any resolutions. I always do make resolutions because I'm a glutton for failure. So I thought we should read out this list because there's also a lot of comments. Many of you joined in to say what words and expressions we should call 2026 moratorium on all of these ways of speaking. I agree, it's time. And I think maybe some people in the chat here could add more. Maybe I'll keep a running list. And we should think of some new ways to speak. One of the ones I would like to get rid of is the use of the word gift. Like I
As
know
a
we
verb,
have to have it. Yeah, I know we have to do it because the word give is stretched too far.
I'm going to gift you this.
But you have to add so many extra words. What I was gifted with, or it's fine. I know we're all doing it now. It doesn't bother me as much as impactfulness, but it's
Impactful.
getting. Wait, before I do this, let me read practices. I wish the ESV maintained the KJV and KJV John 3:16 keeping begotten in the text as well as First John 5:7 like in the KJV. I know there were reasons, but I think it would be wise to maintain it even if in parentheses.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think you're right about that. And I wish. I mean, I do like it. The ASV maintained like behold instead of look. Like,
Yeah, look over there.
even though probably look is probably what it would have sounded like, so in Koine Greek, but still, I like having the higher words.
I mean, oh, the Bible has affected English as a language. You know,
Well, the King James version has
King
definitely. I
James
mean,
has.
yeah,
So I think there's a course there's a conversation back and forth between the Bible and I don't agree. All the people, maybe this is really mean of me, but all the people who are
adulting. That's
adulting needs to go. All the people who are continually fussing about the ESV like it's some kind of conspiracy and it's so bad. I I have a hard time getting invested in that quote apparent controversy because we have so many English translations and so much of the Bible world still doesn't have the Bible or only has one bad translation that I just I think, maybe we could suck it up and just be grateful for really very good Bible translations, you know.
I mean, I love the ESV. ESV is my favorite. I mean, I guess King James.
I love the King
I love
James.
the King James, but as far as like everyday reading, I'm going to read the ESV, and um, it's got and I 10, 15 years ago was it? I thought I had my Greek had gone away from me. I did 4 years of Attic Greek in college, and then in seminary I did like one semester. No, I did 2 years of Greek actually in seminary, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, I let it go. I stopped, which you got to read every day if you want to keep your Greek up. So 15 years ago, I started to relearn everything, and I was started from the basic Koine Greek book and just started reteaching myself. So so anyway, I'm not by any means a Greek expert, I'm proficient enough to know whether or not a text is being translated okay, well enough or not. And the ESV, yeah, there's some clearly some areas where they didn't make the right decision, but it's a great Bible as far as a whole. And then in the study notes, if you just buying that translation for the study Bible,
Hmm.
if you get a study sale, it's spectacular.
Really great. Yeah. Okay. So let's launch into the words to leave behind, words and phrases to leave behind in 2026. Kristen says adulting. 100%
Yeah, that's the
be
that
done
needs to.
with adulting. No more. Just,
What is that? Where did that word come? How did that word come into
it
play?
came about because life is really hard. And I think as millennials and then Zoomers have had to come of age, they've been shocked by the grinding awfulness of having to live through daily life, including things like worrying about car insurance,
Going to work
going to work, going to the
every day.
doctor,
Yeah,
cooking food for themselves. And so when our children have gone to college, they've had to take classes in which the teachers use the word adulting. Like, we're going to have to teach you how to do adulting. It's so humiliating.
I mean, I watched these videos. I'd have to. Okay, now that you're saying this, and I do watch. I've seen videos on YouTube, or maybe on
Whatever.
Reels or whatever. Of Zoomers, or maybe it's not millennials. It must be Zoomers, um, who are just completely overwhelmed by normal things like going to work, having to pay bills, living in an apartment, not yeah after graduating from college, right? So
Yeah.
um, and I do feel sorry for them because no one's prepared them for it. Like it's not it is a shock if you've been pampered, if you've been told your whole life, you're very special and you're going to be such a success and there's nothing you can't do. And boy, if you get this college degree, you're going to get out and everything's going to be golden for you. And you get your college degree and you have to work at Walmart, to make ends meet. I mean, I completely understand coming apart and coming and go because there's nothing in your life heretofore has prepared you for adulting. But I mean, I don't know. I hated. My first real job out of college, I think, was at Foot Locker. Out of college, my dad's generation, you got out of college, you got a job in a professional endeavor. But I got a job at Foot Locker.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm glad I didn't have YouTube to make it.
Yeah.
I,
To learn
I
about
could have
adulting.
complained, right? Right.
Okay. So Bill says regarding forbidden words, when I worked for a tech company, we had a lot of tech, but buzzwords. And when we would go to meetings, we would play BS bingo. That is the first person who checked off all the words on the list.
Ah.
Okay, so then Jill says, be mindful. Yeah, let's get rid of be mindful. 100% agree. Uh, I, I guess I know what it means, but it's kind of patronizing. It's a little bit like be concerned. I'm concerned. You need to, it feels
Isn't there like another way of saying be intentional? Like
Yeah, but it's even worse than intentional.
it's a spiritualized intentional.
It comes with the side of you need to be mindful of blah 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 blah.
It's just more scolding, I guess, than
These
intentional,
are
right?
probably more scolding.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not really, yeah. Um, let's see. We can go back to the adulting question, but or mindfulness. Yes, unpack. These are all great. Okay, but I'm gonna go
I
over
feel
to
bad.
Joel's list because there's some great ones here. Um, he says the first one to go should be center. We need to center marginalized voices. Yes, except
Centering needs to go. I totally agree with
centering
that.
needs to go. And then hold space needs to go. Somebody said that here.
What
Yes.
hold space?
Yeah. We got to get rid of hold space.
How's that used?
Um, it's like, oh my word, I'm too tired to think of words and phrases here. But, hold space for those who are grieving, meaning we want them to feel included and we don't want to move on to the next thing.
Oh, so it's like centering.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about
Centering the grieving or centering the yeah, okay.
yeah, holding space for the marginalized. Yeah, marginalized persons. That can go too.
Yeah, what does marginalized means? And that's marginalized is also just like it's such a uh to lack of a better word, BS word because anybody can be marginalized depending on what you're I mean, what does it mean? Yeah, I guess it means you're being overlooked or you're being less uh how would you say? What would you say, Mark?
Well, marginalized is everybody on the rainbow thing and everybody who's not from here. It's actually
But you can't say the white
you're
heterosexual
not
Christian
from
male
here.
is marginalized, even though he's actually marginalized. Right?
Yeah,
You
the
can't say the white straight Christian male is. You can't say he's marginalized, even though probably the most marginalized person. In
we also can't hold space for him because
yeah,
that would
no,
be weird
you
anyway.
can't center him. You can't be centered. No centering of the
Yeah.
males.
Um, I think that the word marginalize is great because it allows you to literally marginalize
Yeah,
certain people. Okay.
and you get to feel good about yourself. I think when you use that word, you feel really good about yourself
Yeah.
because you're caring about the marginalized. Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, no, here. Uh, as Rihanna says, aka on Mother's Day, let's hold space for those with hard relationships with their mothers.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. It's another way of saying feel sorry for.
But that's all. It's kind of scolding it, right? Everyone's having a good time. And everyone's having a fun time on Mother's Day, honoring their mothers. But then someone comes along and says, "Now you
Well,
like
that's
hold space for the people who have bad relationships with their mothers because you can't."
yeah, it does lower the emotional
Everyone's having a Merry Christmas now. Let's hold space for the people who don't celebrate Christmas or people who have had bad Christmases in the past. Okay, fine.
I would like to hold space for those who were harmed by the Sandra Lee Kwanzaa cake.
Harmed. That's another word. He's harmed. Needs to go away.
Harmed. Yeah, we can get rid of harmed for sure. Okay, here's one I would like to get rid of. Even though I recently rewrote my welcome letter and for lack of a better word, used this one, which I regret now because I think it was the wrong choice. Um, community. We should get rid of the word community because it doesn't mean anything anymore.
To
Because we have
demotivations
virtual,
community.
the demotivational community. I don't think we should do that. Um, it would be, it's a bad, because I did read a really interesting and I'll call article on Substack. Can't find it again. Sorry. That we all think that we have online virtual communities, but we don't because we don't live near each other. So to have a community, you need to live near the people, like in physical proximity with them.
No, but there is something. It's going. But there is something that you have online. What is
You
it?
need to have a different word for it.
A different word, right?
Yeah. So because people can
Association.
be motivated to have a community. Oh yeah, association. Well, no, we could be called an empire. We need to hold space for community and center marginalized voices over empire. I think it should be the demotivational empire, but also empire should go away. Um,
What's wrong with it? Oh, like with the way the kind of more people use that word, like empire is anything that they
yeah,
disagree
yeah. Empire, anything that anybody I don't like is part of the empire.
with.
Oh, cohort, yeah. The demotivational guild. Okay, so then another person said we should get rid of lived experience.
uh, yeah, because you could just say my experience, right? Why does that have to be my lived experience?
Yeah,
Lived experience just makes it
as if,
sound
as Joel said, as if any experiences aren't lived.
right.
Right?
The island of misboys.
Yeah,
That's what
the,
my dad. Before my dad was a Christian, that's what he called the church.
the church is the misfit.
Yeah, because he thought and he like he went to church. He tolerated the church, but he didn't. He always thought it's for weak people until
Well,
he.
that is true. I mean, like every
True.
time he said it, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, John says get rid of uh
Missional.
missional.
Oh, absolutely. That word. And it's used as a, it's used. I guess it's used as an adjective. Oh no, it can be used as a verb too. Let's be missional. Is that a verb?
To be
No,
missional,
that's adjective. Um, to be mission.
adverbial,
I'm missionalizing. Um,
missionalizing.
yeah, I know that word. When that started coming into use in the aughts, I think, and then it became ubiquitous.
Yeah, which is my favorite word, ubiquitous. We don't use that one enough. Um, okay, Kristen says we should get rid of the word agency,
Yes.
which we
Yes.
should,
Yes, I agree with
because it's
that.
actually a legal term and we shouldn't kid around with
Central Intelligence Agency.
yeah. And advocates, she says, unless one is filing an amicus brief to the SCOTUS, advocates have no place in the proceedings against individuals. And then my favorite is adjacent. Either you are something or you aren't. You can't be adjacent to it.
Yeah, what does that mean too? I always have a hard time getting that. Is it mean
Well,
like you're
like
an ally?
it's
Is that
it's like you can be close. Uh, well, I like it, but I mean I use it wrong on purpose, wrongly. Uh, I think you can be like God adjacent, meaning like you don't really want to be a Christian, but you kind of want to hang out, or Christian adjacent, not God adjacent. God adjacent would be like another God. No, Christian adjacent is it sort of comes up against something, but it's not um just you know you're not all in is what adjacent is, and I agree. People should be all in for whatever it is that they're doing. Um, Bill Ruth says actualize. Yes,
yes?
let's get rid of that one.
Throw that one out.
And then, yeah, I think we should go in here with James says we should get rid of trauma informed and standpoint epistemology. And
Yes,
the
throw them
reason we should
out.
get rid of
Not just as words, as concepts.
trauma informed, we should get rid of because the guy who did it made it up.
Yeah, right. The your body doesn't. Was it what's
Your
it?
body doesn't keep the score, apparently.
His argument is your body always keeps store. Every kind of traumatic experience you've had, your body like stores up and holds into your body. And then Mary Harrington? Did she write the book? Who wrote Abigail Schreier?
Oh, bad therapy. Yeah.
Bad Therapy said just eviscerated that theory. I mean, in her book, right? So no, your body does not keep score unless a psychologist,
Except mine does.
right?
The
And
kind of
standpoint
score
epistemology
that
is
your body keeps is when you eat a lot of cookies at Christmas time, your body keeps the score like very precisely, and you get no. Uh,
we can talk about my app. My app,
from,
my calorie counting app is
no, we're not going to do that.
helps you keep score. The
Oh, right. Adjacent is often used as a pejorative. That's
uh,
true.
standpoint epistemology is the idea that um, you can't understand the writing um, the writing of a slave from 1900s unless you have a similar standpoint, right? So without that, you can't get it. So really, that what that whole idea does is render biblical interpretation as impossible because no one has a standpoint of a first century um, Jewish person. So it's and then so the idea that if we get a whole bunch of different standpoints other than the dominant one, like I guess the heteronormative white persons, then you'll have a better
Odysseus's standpoint.
yeah,
I don't.
you'll have a better interpretation of the text. But that does uh, again put you in a place of epistemological Gnosticism. No one can know, or agnosticism. No one can know what a person has actually written, and that's exactly what the deconstruction is supposed to do. So
Yeah. Okay. Well. Wait. Joel says trauma informed is rough. We have to confront that language about the homeless crisis when folks are smashing in our windows with crowbars and people talk about trauma informed response. Oh my goodness. Well, I
yeah, I
think it
mean,
lets people out. There was a great article a long time ago by Arrett. I can't remember his last name. And he talked about how when you can use the trauma situation. First of all, it it's true that people endure horrible trauma
yeah,
in life. It's when it's overused, people who actually have endured trauma often get overlooked and they don't get the help that they need. But in terms of the church, if you replace basically many churches have replaced sin with trauma. And the problem is that sin does really bad things, people and communities. But if you exchange those one for the other, you insulate everybody from encountering the living God who can actually heal. So it's a terrible ruse. Um, and
well, that's what. So uh, was it? Yeah, I think it was Abigail Shire who was no, it was an article. Maybe it was the same guy who was saying the trauma informed ideology is that you can't convict a person who's been victimized
yeah, it was the
of sin. I mean, no way, shape, or form can they be told in any situation that they've sinned because you're you're enforcing the trauma back on them, and so you can't do that. But which that's a recipe for spiritual death. So
yeah, I mean it's because often
right,
the awful thing about trauma is that often if you have been traumatized, you might go on and then sin. So if you
yeah.
can never be helped out of that, you're just compounding the problem, and it's a really bad deal. Um, so uh, okay, now another one is, and Anne said we should get rid of my journey.
That would, I mean, how could could Episcopalians ever preach a sermon
My
if we
journey.
if we took out my journey from the lexicon?
I
Remember that sermon we heard in seminary? Um,
mm,
oh, I do. I I think it was a female student classmate of ours, and her sermon started off with her saying "journey," and then she was silent for like 5 seconds. Journey.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, then the third time, journey. And then we all have our own journeys, and it was like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of just
I remember the one where our classmate was the peacemaker in the gospel. Blessed are the peacemakers. And the
and he
sermon was
turns out
about
to
how
be
he
this maker.
fully embodied peacemaking. And the great thing is when it was all over, the professor took off his glasses, folded his hands, and said, "That's really nice, but it wasn't about the text. So sorry."
Yeah, yeah.
No, I like the we should get rid of can we normalize? We should get rid of the word normalize.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Um,
get rid of that.
and we should also get rid of authentic, my authentic self. Intentional is overused.
The bad thing about these things is some of these words are good. Like authentic is a good word, but you can't use it anymore because it's been so weirdly
Weirded. That's a good one.
applied.
It has been weirded. That I mean, so I'm trying to read Shakespeare with my daughters now and some other young girls, and I'm impressed by how free and easy, of course. Of course, I should be impressed with, you know, Shakespeare. He was really good at words.
He's a good writer.
He was a good writer, and he was very free with invention and using words in different kinds of ways and inventing. Personally invented so many words that we use uh, on, on the daily. And I think we should not be so fixed. I think we should be freer to make verbs into nouns and nouns into verbs if we want to. Yeah, he was a good writing guy. But what's happened to language in the last 5 years isn't this sort of free, open invention that has expanded and broadened the horizons of expression, emotion, spirituality. It's gotten really stupider and uglier. Like my favorite icon of our time is when we were driving behind a big RV and the RV had on the back of it, it was called Impact. That's a perfect visual how stupid language is now. Don't call your big, huge RV Impact on the highway. Call it Odyssey, but it was called Impact. Um, so I think we need different words. We need to make up more words, but I don't know how. I'm not quick enough on my feet. Um, wait, I can't read that one. You read it.
On the note of Shakespeare, we really do have to let folks know that Polonius was the one who said, "To thine own self be true," and he was a wretched blowhard. Speaking of authentic.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, the internet has cheapened language. Lazy people just recycle words as if they are saying something. I feel like adulting is a very perfect cheapening of a word or the concept to grow up, to become a mature adult, engaged in life and all the complexity and difficulty of life and the challenge it reduces it down to this sort of whine, like WHINE, like or as my son says often, "Nee, nee, 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 nee," like it's so hard. um, it's too hard. Yeah. Okay. Dallas says sample Episcopalian sermon in 2026, a journey towards wholeness, where the rector says the Bible is more of a poetic suggestion than an actual doctrine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh
Yes.
no. So somebody, what I missed this one, said we should get rid of the word broken. Um, along with my walk.
My
So it's
walk is
kind
kind of
of
like
out of,
journey, I guess.
yeah, my
So
turn.
yeah.
My walk.
Although then again, this has, walk is a perfectly good biblical word for
Yeah,
your spiritual journey.
yeah.
Because you, I mean, Paul uses that walk in the your relationship to Christ. But it's been so reduced by weird usages of it that yeah. Um,
Well, so I would welcome. I did use the word community in my new welcome letter. If you subscribe to the Motivations with Anne, you'll see on one of them that I say joining that community. And I think as I was writing it, I was feeling queasy. So a network. Maybe network goes better. Somebody said that back up at the top. Um, but I feel like we also missed a bunch of comments here.
Um, no,
We got them.
last one was we need to bring back rites of passage for men, which is yes, I totally agree with that. That was on the uh
Oh yeah, we missed it.
alternate reading for this coming Sunday is Jesus, the boy Jesus in the temple, and he's 12, and he's probably just at the point where he's being considered a man. I'm not sure they had bar mitzvahs back then, but he's just at the point where he's being considered a man, and there was no adolescence as a psychological construct in those days, and there really hasn't been for any culture except our own after the in the 20th centuries when this was the idea of adolescence was created to sell things. I think is probably why it was created. But before that, you hit sexual maturity and you're a man or you're a woman and you're expected to act like a man or a woman. So and there were definitely good rights to bring that to pass. I think that yes, I definitely agree with that. Um,
Uh, I we should get rid of the of cis, like cisgender. What
oh
was
yeah,
that
yeah,
higher?
yeah. That should be done later.
We should get rid of flourishing. 100% get
Oh
rid of
yeah, that's
flourishing.
the way we can.
That's
Um,
the one because if somebody uses the word flourishing, you can guarantee that they are have a canon within a canon. They're reading the Bible very narrowly so as to avoid things like penal substitutionary atonement or the gospel.
it is interesting how these words that we're seeing come up here, the the language, just listening to someone speak, you can tell whether or not this person's a Orthodox
Yeah.
or whether this person is maybe Orthodox, maybe a genuine Christian, but being influenced by people of the left. And
We should get rid of the word influencer. Really, I'm prepared at this point to trash almost all the words that are the major words of our time, like influencer, flourishing. Um, that's true though. How you talk is a what's that
like,
word? Shibboleth.
well, I mean, that's you can immediately I can immediately we form bad impressions of somebody or good impressions of somebody based on the words they use because they set you into a certain category of thought. Like you could tell this. Oh, well, this person's a leftist. This person's a complete fascist. This person. I mean, so you know, like like we were
Yeah.
saying a few weeks ago, someone starts talking about the Jews. You're pretty well know, you pretty well know that person's lost.
Yeah. Well, so Nicole says she ordered a book called The Death of the Grown Up, which I have not heard of, but I'm going to add it into it. That sounds cool. Um, yeah, we need elders who ought to have mentored us and raised us up. There's a gap in Christian formation. It happened to the Gen Xers. Um, not all boomers certainly, but we found in our church that women my age are trying to learn how to bring along younger women because largely we were just left to figure it out. So we probably developed a lot of bad habits. And there's this sort of gap of knowledge, like how to help young mothers and young fathers raise children or young single people to adults, essentially become adults. And we just did it on our own, but without sort of the community that spiritual Christian community that we needed. So I feel like a lot of our job has been to recreate something out of nothing, um, which I know that's what everybody's doing. So yeah, clap back needs to go.
I've never heard that used. How is that
Um,
used?
I hear it all the time, but I'm not really. I think it means like to disagree with, to saying that somebody else is really wrong. I think that's what clapback is. I'm probably wrong. I'm out of my depth here on jargon. Um, so I mean, the next step is to go in and find better, or just start using the words that we had before. Um, that I'm sure that there were good ways of speaking as Christians. Um, a sharp pounce back is clapback. I don't know what that means either. Oh, to be, well, I know it's a negative thing. Um,
A sharp pounce back. Okay. So a sharp reply.
oh, okay. Let's see.
Hot takes.
Hot takes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what I need to do is go get some eggnog and stare at the wild fury of wind outside and think about what I'm going to resolve for the new year. Um, oh yeah, I don't know what no cap. Thou shalt not cap. Um, sharp and over the top immediate. Okay, clap.
Oh yeah, no cap.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one. That's one. Like I've heard younger people use it. I have no idea what it means. Um,
hot takes gives an out for people not thinking before responding. Yeah, it's what the internet is made of, though.
what's the 6-7 thing? Does anyone out there know what the 6-7 thing is?
No, I don't know what it is. I even
Or is it
watched
an
a whole video about what it is, and I still don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. So
So,
old.
no idea. We're too old. Yeah, and it's time for me to go back to sleep because I've been awake for whole hours in a row. So, we will probably be back next week,
With more
and I'm
serious.
going to blog with more serious things. I'm not sure what they are going to be. 6-7 things should be a felony for being so obscure. I don't know what it is. Mediocre. I feel really bad for the people who are just joining, but thank you so much for coming to this week's um, live stream
Oh, rating.
rejection
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
rating on a scale of 10. Oh, okay. That's,
So if you look at somebody and you're judging looks, you say that person's a 6-7. I guess you're saying they're good looking, but not a 10. I guess it would be. I don't know. Not that
yeah.
anyone should be doing that, but that's.
No, that's not right.
Oh, is that all right? Okay. Oh well, I'll never understand it.
Happy New Year, everyone. See you online as usual. Bye.